Okay, so the first thing you want to do is set yourself up in a nice, open, comfortable posture. If you don't know how to do this, I have another tutorial for it on my channel, so check that out. You just raise the crown, relax and separate the shoulders, let the elbows sink. Release through the abdominal cavity and the lower back, and let all the weight of the body drain down into the quad and the sit bones, the feet resting nicely on the ground, and I just let this process of opening and releasing move through my system. You don't have to spend very long with that. So our bell's gone off. Now we can bring our attention to the breathing. So I just start to tune in to what my breathing feels like in a very general sense, just noticing the inhale and the exhale. And we'll just stay listening to our breathing like this for a moment. We're not in a particular technique yet. It's just kind of a moment to tune in or open to the breathing. Here we're not doing anything with our breath yet, we're just listening to how it is. Okay, and then we're going to actually start very softly and gently manipulating the breath. So we want the breath to be in and out through the nose only, no mouth breathing. And I want you to make it as light and soft and smooth as possible. You don't want to make any sound at all with your breathing. Just let the breath slow down. Nice long inhale. A natural pause at the top, and then just let the out breath go on its own. Just draining out slowly. So the out breath is just a little bit like, I've got a puncture in a tire. It's just slowly leaking out. I'm not pushing it out, I'm not squeezing it out, I'm just letting it kind of float out of its own accord at its own pace. And then a natural pause at the bottom. And a nice breath in again, nice fluid and smooth and slow breath in. You really want to start to make the exhale as long as or even longer than the inhale. When you start to kind of actively slow your breath like this, some people may experience a kind of anxiety, possibly a feeling like they're choking or don't have enough air. It's very normal. It is not at all dangerous. You can just keep gently breathing through it. Just make sure you keep breathing and you'll be good. This is just an emotional reaction. And you just need to let it rise. It'll come and it'll go of its own accord. You don't really need to do anything about it. Just keep regulating the breath very gently. This gentle long inhale. Natural pause and a very slow, long exhale, also through the nose. Just trying to make the breath as fluid and smooth as possible so it's not kind of sharp or jagged. It's just a nice, smooth and fluid inhale. Very gentle pause at the top before there's a long exhale. Okay, for the next section, we are going to descend the breath. Some people like to put their hand on their belly for this, and maybe one hand on the chest. So we have that same pace of breathing, but now we're going to purposefully expand the abdominal cavity with it. So as I breathe in, I expand my belly, feeling my belly rise and push the bottom hand out. And then I'm just going to release the breath in the same way for the breath out. So it's the same pace of breath. I'm just gently encouraging depth now. So to have the breath go all the way down into the belly. The breath in, expanding the belly. And release the breath and just let the breath slowly return natively. The belly will kind of just relax slowly back to a neutral state. And by the end of the breath, I don't want to squeeze my belly to get the end of the breath out or anything like that. I just relax. And then I keep breathing in and out like this. We're still in a bit of an active regulation here, so we haven't released the breath entirely just yet. We're encouraging an ideal through our intent. Slow and long, deep breath, abdominal breath. This is the ideal, but for now we are actively encouraging it. We have a kind of intent to control the breath in this way. And if you find anything kind of like tenses up or tries to force the breath physically, then just release these tensions, just relax them and let the breath continue in its slow, deep, fluid rhythm. Inhale that expands the belly. Pause at the top, and then an exhale that's longer and slower than the inhale. The breath is very silent, so relax it so you're not making any sounds. Definitely no sounds at the base of the throat. Just keep releasing and relaxing any kind of tensional interference with the breath. Actively encouraging more and more of this long and deep and smooth breath. You just want to maintain this very slow and long and fluid breath. Okay, now we're going to release the technique entirely. I keep listening to my breath. And we're just going to quickly map the structures that we're listening from. So we start with the nostrils. Just bring my attention to the physical structures of the nostrils. I feel the breath passing them, but I'm not tracing the pathway of the breath. I'm just feeling the nostrils themselves. Just resting my attention as if my attention is soaking into the nostrils. I release my mind in whatever way I'm capable of at this point in time. Just resting the breath in the nostrils. And I'm just going to slowly expand the territory that I'm paying attention to, the structural territory. So from the nostrils, I keep paying attention, and I include now the nasal passages all the way up to the bridge of the nose between the eyebrows. Just listening to the breath now. I've completely released the pace of my breath now. I just let my breath breathe itself at whatever pace it wants to. It can be short or long, shallow or deep. We lose our instructions. We lose that manipulation. We're now just in a state of listening. But where are we listening from? We're listening from the structure, from the nostrils and the nasal passages. Okay, and then come down through the back of the throat to the tonsils. Now I'm listening to the structures all the way from the nostrils, up the nasal passages, around the bend at the bridge of the nose, near all the sinuses and everything, and down past the back of the throat to the tonsils. And I just breathe naturally and feel the breath from the structure. I listen to the structure surrounding the breath. And that structure gets stimulated as the air passes. I do not follow the passage of air. I keep resting my attention on the structure of the nose and the airways themselves. Okay, let's extend the territory again, down the back of the throat, down the airways to the top of the lungs. You want to pay attention to this whole structure of it as if it's just one thing, from nostrils to top of the lungs. And everything in between, it's all just one piece that I'm paying attention to. And so my attention is not moving, it's just resting on and in this one piece. And I'll take it down inside the chest as much as possible. It'll be a little difficult to feel super cleanly inside the chest. You can maybe feel the movement of the ribs. If you have more capacity or more sensitivity, you may feel the inside aspect of the ribs and the sternum. If you're even more sensitive, you may feel the lungs themselves, the various fascial connections and so on. Again, not particularly concerned with what's right or wrong. You just feel whatever there is to feel on the internal aspect of the chest. And so from nostrils up the nasal passages, down the back of the throat and the airways, and inside the chest is all one piece. And we're just gently resting our attention on this structure. feeling it as it responds to the breath. Do not trace the air in and out of the structure. So if you have the time, you can keep taking this concept down further, down into the diaphragm, into the belly, and so on. But for now, we'll just finish there. So we release our attention from the breathing structures entirely. We just come back to a more general attention of you sitting in the room. And once you've released the exercise entirely, then you're done. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to learn more or support my work, head on over to my website, craigmallet.com. You're also welcome to join my community, which can be found at community.craigmallet.com or via the menu on my main website. I generally have a number of services available. If you'd like some help, just reach out. I have a student program, I have online courses, I have workshops and private consultations, all available to any who would want it. As always, to appease the algorithm gods, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and/or share.